Okay, everybody. Well, welcome to the channel. If you're brand new to the channel, please subscribe, hit that notification button, do all that. We have so much on this channel right now, whether it's John Williams composing the theme to the Obi Wan Kenobi series, which is on this channel right now. You can check it out. We have a bunch of reviews, panels. We're at Star Wars Celebration right now. Hence the reason normally, if you're not new to this channel and you've seen my spoiler reviews in the past, well, then you'll know that I normally put pictures and do all those things and have a full-on kind of more graphics and all that, but I'm in the hotel room talking about the episode. So this is episode 1. I'll have episode 2 out very soon. Episode 1 of Kenobi. The opening, just the previously on, gets you into it. It's like it shows you everything leading up, if you hadn't seen the prequels or you haven't seen them in a while, the journey of Anakin Skywalker and Obi Wan Kenobi and how they came to know each other, watching the death of Qui-Gon Jinn and how that affected not only Obi-Wan in general, but how that then shaped the relationship between him and Anakin, and he went to train him, and they became friends, and they fought in the Clone Wars, and all of that stuff that went down was absolutely heartbreaking to rewatch, knowing what we're about to get into in this particular series. So they show you that, and they also show you one of the last things that you see in that little preview, or previously on, if you will, was the Yoda sending Obi-Wan to communicate and try to communicate with Qui-Gon Jinn. So then we pick up, and is an opening scene and an opening shot of the younglings training with their master, and it's like a moment of peace on Coruscant for like a split second, and then the clones come in, and the Jedi Master tries so hard to fight them off, but ultimately can't, and the younglings say, run. Now, what I think, actually, now that I've seen this episode, I've seen it twice. So the first time I was able to see it, they screened it early at Star Wars Celebration. Then I watched it again, and in the beginning, what I realized, I think that one of those younglings might be Reva, by the way, and I kept calling her Reva. It's Reva. All the other Inquisitors have been calling her Reva, so that's what I'm going to call her. I think that one of the younglings in the start might be Reva. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. But it's a great start overall to then show us 10 years later when we have the Inquisitors, they show up and they're there and they're questioning, and the Grand Inquisitor comes in and he's like, okay, listen, I know what's going on here. You guys are hiding a Jedi. And they come in, and this is a great scene because it establishes not only the dominance of the Inquisitor, Grand Inquisitor that we've seen from Rebels and all that, we then see the frustration, the viciousness of Reva, who comes in, and now that's why, if we go back and find out that indeed was her, the juxtaposition of watching her as a youngling and now turning her into now this Inquisitor with this purpose, with this fierceness, all of that. It was a great scene, I thought, overall, because the Grand Inquisitor was doing this one where he says that great line about the Jedi, and that thing that we got from the trailer. Most of the stuff we got from the trailer is both episode 1 and 2, which I loved, and I love that all the reveals that we got came out here. We got a lot of surprises in this episode as well, but the dynamic between all of them, and then finding the Jedi who reveals himself, and then Reva again slashing him, and the Grand Inquisitor going, you're reckless, calm the F down. And so I'm on the fence right now, and you'll hear this more in my Sith Council too. I'm on the fence with Reva. There's a lot of things that I like about her, and there's a lot of things that I think that I'm still on the fence with. I think it's okay to be a little bit more subtle, and I think that the subtleness that works really well in this series with her is when that town scene when they're questioning right before she has this whole back and forth with Owen, and she just slices off the hand for that one villager. That type of stuff is just, it's a subtle by the nature of the word, but it's subtle in the way that it's not over the top, it's not overbearing, there's a lot of times that it's just, I feel like we're just showing her to be angry, and I think it's more so in episode 2 where it starts to even out a little bit more. But anyway, I digress. It's a great setup to show what's going on. The Empire is in power, full force. The Jedi are being hunted, and they're even showing that these Jedi that don't mean too much to them, the scraps, and the Grand Inquisitor says there's really no one else to hunt. So what are you getting all worked up about? And she's like, you know, the one I want. It's Obi-Wan. That's what she's going after, and it's this main thing. And then we finally see Obi-Wan. He's keeping his head down. he's depressed. He's working in a meat shop, and I love that shot that they have when there's the this whatever the hell that creature was, and they're chopping the meat off of it, and he's stealing a little for his creature, and he's keeping his head down, and he's not getting involved in the fight, and he's defeated. And it is similar to the stuff in Last Jedi with Luke, but I think in a very different purpose. And as we see in this episode, in a way that when he's called back to the cause of who he really is, he answers the call. And I think that that's set up very good in this episode. And I think the Star Wars humor that works very well in this episode, a scene that works great, is the scene with the Jawa. Again, one of the great scenes of Star Wars humor I found in The Mandalorian was when the Jawa was with Din, and he almost sets him on fire. And there's it's just a moment that seems like it works. In episode 2, there's something that I feel it's more of the stuff that they do in the Marvel stuff, and it doesn't fit as well. But in this, I thought it worked really well. And he has these conversations with the Jawa, and he's keeping himself, again, making it very clear he's not a Jedi. He finds out all this information about the Jedi. And there's just a lot to it. These little about getting that thing for Luke, the little ship, and I thought that worked well. So the setup in this was great. And then when he's confronted by the Jedi who says, you gotta help me out here, he's like, no, I'm done. Go bury your lightsaber in sand. We lost, brother. It's over. And he goes, and he's defeated. And even when he's looking out and he's staring at Luke from the outskirts, and he puts the toy down there, and then Owen comes into the town and throws the thing down. They have that whole scene, and he tells him, he goes, stay out of it. You only care about him because you want to see if he's showing. That's it. And I don't want to jump over the best part of this series that they kept from us, which I thought was great, was Leia, and the way that they presented Leia, and the girl who plays Leia. Oh my God, she's fantastic. And not only this little girl was so great, one of the best standouts of the entire show episode was the way that she played Leia, and the way that it was written for Leia. And Deborah Chow, the way that Deborah Chow sets up the shots from and jumping back and forth from the Inquisitors to Obi Wan to Leia, and setting up Alderaan. We haven't seen Alderaan in so long, and really ever, except maybe at the end of the prequels or here and there. I think you see a little bit in the Clone Wars or something, but not to this effect, not in live action in this manner. And setting up the politics of, and seeing Jimmy Smits again. Oh boy, Jimmy Smits was so good in this as Bail Organa, and watch him have these conversations with Leia, and the scenes with her mom, and the appreciation of droids, and how much she loved being. She's sassy, she's quick. That thing that she has with her cousin. The thing with her cousin, when the cousin's basically, you're not an Organa, and you're like, oh man, that's going to break this girl's heart. And she snaps right back at him and goes right after him. Such a Leia moment, such an incredible moment that I thought worked very well, setting up that we get to eventually where she has this conversation with us. You got to apologize. She's like, yeah, sure. And she runs off into the forest, and she gets kidnapped by Flea. Now, was Flea a little jarring in this series? Yeah, he was, and they said that they put him in there because I don't know, he was on set or whatever too, and it didn't. He in the long line of some characters, like a Bill Burr or Amy Sedaris or something along those lines. Did it ruin it for me? No. They capture her, they take her away, and there's more of a reason of why they're kidnapping her. But this was what I was talking about, where Obi-Wan now comes back. He gets that beacon, it's beeping. He gets basically Bail Organa saying, you got to help us. And he's like, I can't do it. You got to find somebody else. He said, I can't do it. You got to find somebody else. And he doesn't do it. And then Bail shows up, does the nice fake out. We think it might be a Jedi. They're teasing the Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson's showing up in this thing one way or another. Even if it's in the last episode, he's showing up. But either way, Bail Organa shows up, says, come on, get back on the horse, man. Do it. Similar to the scene with Rey and Luke, except Luke was like, nah, I'm not going. I can't do it. And it's not going to end the way you think it is. Obi-Wan's like, all right, I'll go. And he goes and he gets the saber and the two sabers from Anakin and him. And I don't want to jump over it. One of the great scenes that I missed beforehand was when he was trying to connect with Qui-Gon, but when he's having that dream. He's having that dream, and he's seeing, and he's so pained by the loss of Anakin, and you feel it. And it's just, what a performance by Ewan Macgregor. And I thought that you really feel the despair of what Obi-Wan's going through. So in the episode ends, and he goes and he's going on his mission, and we have our first episode. I think it was a great setup. I think the music is fantastic from start to finish. It was a fantastic episode. I think a fantastic beginning. The beginning really kicks you into gear, and now the switch. I love the idea that, you know, he's always been protecting Luke, looking after Luke. He's got to help out Leia now, and we're going to find out in episode 2. And I'm going to do my spoiler review of episode 2 in a separate video. So if you're brand new to this channel, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. I love this episode. I thought there's so much to do, and I'm enjoying it, of what I've seen so far, the direction from Deborah Chow, the music that I've seen so far, the performances. I think, and it's harder for me because I think that Reva, Moses Ingram, there's a lot of things that she's doing really good in this character, and then there's a lot of things that I still have a lot of questions about in general. The Grand Inquisitor doesn't seem to be the main focus of it, and I'm fine with that. That's okay. But I want to see more about what I'm just worried about the trope that Star Wars does sometimes, of like whether it's Star Killer or Vader or Kylo or Boba. They always turn the bad guys good, and I'm hoping that they don't do it in this way. It's kind of setting up that way. But then again, if it happens, as long as there's a reasoning behind it, and we shall see in how this is all being played out so far. But I love the start of it. Very curious to hear what you guys think. Did you like the first episode of Obi Wan Kenobi? What did you think? And if you want to see the second episode, go ahead, go out over there, click on it, and come on and join me. If you're brand new to the channel, subscribe. Let me know. I'm doing a lot of Star Wars stuff over here, and happy to see you, happy to hear from you. All right, talk to you soon. Peace.